What's up, people? It's your boy, I'm CriticismWHITE, and I am back with another video. Man, first take was heated, okay? Between Stephen A. Smith and Terrell Owens. Max was there as well. And they talked about Colin Kaepernick, about the workouts, the agreement that Colin Kaepernick and an NFL teamed up for. There was specific language in the agreement, the official agreement from Colin Kaepernick and the NFL that Colin Kaepernick wanted to execute, but the NFL did not do so. And at the last minute, Colin Kaepernick changed the location of the workout. Instead of doing at the Atlanta Falcons Stadium, he did it like 100 miles away, I think at a college or a high school stadium. There was a lot of things. There was a lot of disagreements between Colin Kaepernick had with the NFL and vice versa. There was like, I believe it was over 20 NFL teams that was going to witness the workout with Colin Kaepernick at the Atlanta Falcons Stadium. And when he relocated and went to the other stadium, only 13 teams went 100 miles away to see Colin Kaepernick. So of those over 20 plus teams that was going to watch Colin Kaepernick anyway at the Atlanta Falcons Stadium, it makes you wonder. That's sort of like smoke and mirror. How, out of those 20 plus teams, how many of them was really interested in Colin Kaepernick? That's one thing. Another thing, Colin Kaepernick wanted to do it under his terms. He wanted to work out with his receivers. The NFL disagreed with that. They had their own receivers, and they had their own routine that they wanted to test Colin Kaepernick on. And I feel like it was doomed from the word go. When you when you're in negotiations with a corporation or an individual, whatever, the language in what y'all negotiated on is supposed to be beneficial for both parties. And Colin Kaepernick felt like the negotiations were more favorable to the NFL than himself. Now, a lot of people questioned the decision of Colin Kaepernick moving to another location, and also what he said after the workout. A lot of things Colin Kaepernick wanted to incorporate, like the media. He wanted the media there, and the NFL did not want the media there. But anywho, that what took place over the weekend, and you have a lot of people like Jason Whitlock, as well as Stephen A. Smith, calling Colin Kaepernick's decision as he really doesn't want to play professional football. He really wanted to be a martyr. Jason Whitlock has went as far as questioning his manhood, saying he's not built for football. So, Jason Whitlock, if he's not built for football, he was like a throwaway from winning the Super Bowl. So what do you think about the opponents that played against Colin Kaepernick? Were they built for this? Were they made for football? Because he, was very successful in the NFL. Okay. But I digress. So Stephen A. Smith and Terrell Owens were debating, and Terrell Owens basically implied that Stephen A. Smith is, in tongue in cheek. That's from Terrell Owens' perspective, that he's wondering, Stephen A. Smith's blackness. Okay, and that kind of rubs Stephen A. Smith the wrong way. Now, to me, I don't agree with everything what Stephen A. Smith say. And to be frank, a lot of these analysts have their own narrative. They like to, sell their narrative to the actual story. And when you listen to these analysts or former or current athletes or owners or coaches, they don't tell you the whole truth. They only tell you their version of the truth. There's three sides to the truth. It's your truth, their truth, and the actual truth. And a lot of these networks spin their narrative, their truth, because that's what sells episodes, sells magazines, and sells shows. Okay. So, Stephen A. Smith got very heated at Terrell Owens, and Terrell Owens said it, he explained later, look, it was just tongue in cheek. And, Terrell Owens is just like Stephen A. Smith. They're selling their narratives. Okay. Stephen A. Smith has a problem with Colin Kaepernick on how he handled it. Okay, and I feel like Stephen A. Smith has and you know, if you go back to how LeBron James handled the decision, even though he says he co-signed it, but it's always a but with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has a problem with people doing things their own way, because if you look at Stephen A. Smith, he was unable to do things his own way. So, you know, you kind of, it's not hatred or jealousy, but, you kind of have a problem, and you don't really identify or understand when you're talking to someone that pretty much controls their own faith, controls how they want to do things and things of that nature. So Stephen A. Smith has an issue with Colin Kaepernick from that perspective, okay? And how, his, how his mission on making awareness of what's transpiring and going on in police violence towards African Americans, how he handled that, and what he have said thus far. Stephen A. Smith has an issue with a lot of things Colin Kaepernick said and did. Now, there's a lot of things Colin Kaepernick has, particularly with the raising the awareness of this, of police brutality, okay? But with the pig socks and all that is very questionable. With the with the t-shirts, I have an issue with a lot of things Colin Kaepernick has done, but I do understand the bigger picture, and I feel like the bigger picture is bigger than Colin Kaepernick, Stephen A. Smith, Jason Whitlock. It's police brutality, how it was on an all-time high that particular time, because it wasn't garnishing a lot of awareness about it. Just like the Me Too movement, I feel like a lot of males truly didn't understand workplace harassment, sexual harassment, until it was blown up on social media and documentaries and television shows and movies and things of that nature. When it started getting awareness, then I feel like we as men really truly understand what sexual harassment is. Even though we think it's just playing around and things of that nature, we fully understand and fully got a grip of sexual harassment. And I feel like to a certain extent that's what's transpiring with police brutality. So you just shining a light and just shining awareness on it, okay? And Stephen A. Smith, if you go through his timeline, just like the domestic violence, with the Ray Rice thing, he was sort of co-signing with Ray Rice, not on how he handled it, but what he was saying, and he was trying to justify his decision, and landed him in a lot of hot water with ESPN, so much so they had to suspend him. Okay, so when you're listening to Stephen A. Smith, that's his angle. Now with Terrell Owens, I feel like deep down Terrell Owens has a huge problem with black analysts such as Stephen A. Smith. He feels like, whenever he gets an opportunity to take shots at, particularly black analysts such as Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock, he does so. Okay, and he feels like they never had his back. They never supported him, even when they was pretty much blackballing him through his oh my God, what is that? The Hall of Fame. That was blackballing him. Even Chris Carter to a certain extent. And everyone was riding the wave of let's ban Terrell Owens from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Okay, because of he was the type of person, he was the type of dynamic that a lot of people could not get along with, because they didn't understand him. And a lot of Terrell Owens' doings were self-inflicted. Okay, but a lot of people at the end of the day understood where Terrell Owens was coming from. Didn't make him a bad guy, just made him a bad teammate. Okay, I always tell people, I don't believe there's a such thing as good and evil. There's in this world, it's only just good people, and there's only just evil people. I feel like good people can do bad things, okay, and I feel like bad people can do good things, okay. I just think as human beings, I think we have a lot of those things in us, okay, and sometimes good people can make sometimes good people can make the wrong decisions, okay, but I feel like Terrell Owens took this time and took this platform to sort of stick it to Stephen A. Smith. And, a lot of people think that Terrell Owens clapped back at Stephen A. Smith. And, he walked it back some. If you watch the show, if you watch the video itself, he sort of kind of walked it back. Okay. And everyone, including Max, they had a pause moment. Like, they could not believe what they just heard. Okay, and it was a shock value thing to Terrell Owens to sort of make Stephen A. Smith look bad. Now, from Stephen A. Smith's point of view, just because you're black doesn't mean I should co-sign with everything you say and do because you're black. Okay, that's what. Now I can understand where Stephen A. Smith is coming from, but if we only just only talk about the Colin Kaepernick and the workout, to me, Colin Kaepernick and the NFL try to, have language in the contract where both parties can benefit from it. And when you look at the initial agreement, it was all very beneficial and one-sided to the NFL. So, of course, Colin Kaepernick did not like that. Now, the ideal thing for Colin Kaepernick to do was to notify the NFL, look, I just don't like the language in this agreement that we brokered. And to be personally honest with you, I'd rather just do it on my own and do it at this said place. And if the media want to come, fine. If the scouts want to come, fine as well. Okay, so I felt like Colin Kaepernick handled it kind of wrong. Okay, with the note with just only the notice on relocating it and notifying people the day of. I felt like he kind of handled that wrong, but I also felt like the NFL handled it very wrong as well. Okay, if you want the world to show that, look, this is a level playing field. The only reason why Colin Kaepernick is not in the NFL is Colin Kaepernick's decision. Colin Kaepernick is no shape and form blackballed. Okay, so if you wanted that narrative to be promoted throughout the world, then basically just having him work out and have your name alongside the workout would have had a lot of closure. It would mend a lot of fences, and and people won't be having conspiracy theories on it's a setup and things of that nature. He's being blackballed, but I feel like, at the end of the day with this situation here, I don't see Terrell Owens making his way back to the worldwide leader of sports, ESPN. ESPN, they're a company, they're a family, they want family viewership, okay? And they don't want to be in a lot of controversy. All right. And I'm surprised ESPN is allowing them to even talk about this Colin Kaepernick. I feel like it's a bigger story, and it's really the only thing to talk about, okay, when you think about it, okay? Now, a lot of players are calling Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith Uncle Toms and things of that nature. I feel like just because you're black, you shouldn't support everything another black man does. Okay, particularly when it doesn't help the black community. Okay, I feel like having diversity is a plus, and that's just pretty much it. So yeah, that's all I gotta say with this video, guys. Tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy, I'm CriticismWHITE, and I am out of here. Deuces.